I think the chances are very good. If you see how India performed against a very strong Pakistani bowling unit, they did well. Obviously, someone like Rohit, Virat, and especially KL Rahul, who coming back after a break and injury. In case of KL Rahul, obviously they were a little rusty, but someone like Virat got some runs, Rohit got some runs and quick runs. So yeah, I mean it's all looking good. Obviously Hardik and someone like DK, Hardik, Chaddu. It seems like a really, really good side, to be honest. And thinking of conditions in Australia, I think India's got a really good side.
But if you look after the India's top orders, somehow, somewhere, the senior guns they are struggling for the runs, basically. So, do you think it's a worry for the Indian team, especially on the Australian soil?
I don't think so. I mean, if you look at the options that India has, I mean, Surya is looking good. Yes, in terms of runs, I would say this. For example, Rohit's innings, the last innings, even though he did not get big runs, you want him, obviously, would want him to get big runs, but it was an impactful innings. 28 of 16 or 18, going at 160 plus strike rate. I mean, that's the kind of innings that you would want in T20. It's in T20, personally, I believe it's about the impact more than the actual runs. Uh, so I think, I understand where you're coming from. But I think India is in a good position, especially the kind of form that Jaddu, Surya, especially, and Hardik has shown. I think that will also encourage the top three to also start playing a lot quicker and playing more freely.
The other part is nowadays the players are looking a little bit fragile. If we can take the example of Ravindra Jadeja in Asia Cup, he got injured, and uh,
Yeah.
from the other teams also. So, what do you think that there is a worry because T20 is more likely a all rounders game? So, do you think that this is the biggest worry of the Indian cricket team?
Absolutely yes. I mean, let's not forget Bumrah is not here. He's
Yeah.
unfit. I mean, he's into recovery. Uh, Jadeja is now injured and won't be part of the rest of the Asia Cup. So it is definitely a big worry, and we are talking about some big names. I mean, Hardik. I mean, you really have to be very, very careful how you manage them. Listen, I mean, straight away give you an example. Ravindra Jadeja not available. Akshar Patel, very good player, a very good player in his own right. But let's say the game against Pakistan, Jadeja batted at four, right? Can you bat Akshar at four? Maybe not. He's a very good batter, maybe at six, seven, but not at four. So now, if you play Akshar, you don't have a left-hander maybe in the top four or five. So if you want to get a left-hander in the top four, five, you have to get Rishabh Pant in, and if you get Rishabh Pant in, they have to sacrifice one of the bowlers. So you're
Yes.
going in with five bowlers. So this is just an example of someone like Jadeja who's a superb all-rounder. Not only what he does as a player, but also the stability and the combination he brings to the table is very, very important.
But in absence of Jadeja, if in case he is not playing in the World Cup, so do you think there would be a pressure on Hardik Pandya in and out? We are just taking just an example, or in some day there is off call. So do you think the entire pressure will come on the Hardik Pandya?
I think yes. Again, that'll be. I mean, it is very, very important for India to make sure you have both Jadeja and Hardik because they bring that stability. The sixth bowler option between them, and obviously, I mean, if one of them is bowling well, then obviously they're good enough to bowl all four. But yeah, I mean, if you don't have Jadeja and Hardik, even one of them, it is. I think India will find it tough if you miss one of them. So it's very, very important that obviously both of them, Bumrah, all these main guys are available. Because how I see it is the team looks set. Um, I don't think and I hope the Indian team management doesn't make too many changes now because it's around the corner the World Cup. So you rather have a set team going into the World Cup and hopefully a fit team as well.
So how you rate Deepak Hooda in this
Oh,
things, because
very good.
Deepak is a very good off spinner as in, and he can hit the shot throughout the, and we
Yeah.
saw in Ireland.
So if you think about it, Indian batting, okay, you have enough firepower, including Deepak Hooda, who's been in brilliant form. He can contribute with his off spin. So I mean, right now you've got Ishan Kishan, Rishabh Pant can't get a game. He didn't play against Pakistan. And you have Deepak Huda. So you have good backups in batting is concerned. So I think, yeah, you're a little more settled and secure, if I may say so, in the batting department. Maybe not as much in the bowling department, and definitely not in the all-rounders department.
And in your department, we are talking about, because both the players are equally good, but
Yeah,
somehow somewhere there are qualities, different qualities of
yeah,
these two players.
yeah.
So what do you think about Rishabh and DK? Rishabh should come up, because the plenty of people they are saying, because if you send Rishabh Pant up and when your field restriction will be there, Rishabh is a very dangerous batsman in first six
Yeah,
overs.
yeah, true. I mean, I think that's not a bad idea at all, opening with Rishabh, and he's done that. Obviously, he has only played 3 games as an opener, so obviously not enough opportunities there. But I think it's not a bad idea. Ideally speaking, you would want to play both Rishabh and DK, but in the current given situation and the team setup, I know DK has been preferred over Rishabh, but I'd still go with Rishabh, especially when Jadeja is available and Hardik is available, because I think what Rishabh gives you is more stability, more flexibility. DK has done a fabulous job. Please don't get me wrong. He's done a fabulous job in that limited role that he's got. Just finishing off games, the last 2 overs. But I think what Rishabh can do is bring you more flexibility. So if there are early wickets, he can go in left hand, right hand combination, and if there's a good start, and you have players like Rishabh himself, Hardik, Jadeja, who can also do the job that DK is doing right now. I mean, like I said, ideally you would want both of them. And if I have to pick one, and everyone is fit and available, I'd go with Rishabh. And having said that, DK has done a fabulous job. So nothing. I mean, he could have done. He's done everything that was asked of him, and maybe even more. Uh, but because the flexibility that Rishabh brings, I'd be tempted to go with it.
We have discussed about the all-rounders, but do you think that when the T20 specialist bowler Harshal Patel will come into the squad, he will be the added advantage, and he could play a batsman's role, because he also hits
Yes.
the ball very cleanly.
Yes, I mean, you need a bowler who can bat at number 8. So someone like him, Deepak Chahar, are absolutely the right people to play in the team and bat at number 8, because as you mentioned, they can bat. They can properly bat. I mean, Harshal opens for Haryana in white ball cricket. So yes, Harshal, once he's back, we mentioned about injuries. Obviously, Harshal is another name.
Yeah.
Arshdeep is another guy, I think, who can do that job. I think he has that ability to bat. Obviously, he needs to work on his batting a little more. Uh, but again, Arshdeep is a really good option in that position. So yeah, I mean, even that part is kind of, I won't say sorted, but yeah, good options that India has.
But in this entire bowling unit, where you seen Mohammad Shami, you can't ignore him, because he's also
I'm
good.
very surprised, Amit. I'm very surprised that Shami has not been considered in the last 6-8 months. I don't think
It's
he
true.
has played T20 Is for India, even though he's bowled well in the IPL,
Yeah.
and somehow I think he should have been kept in the mix. I can understand you want to go with Bhuvi, Bumrah, and maybe Harshal Patel or someone who's a death over specialist. But just in case, because we did talk about injuries and all, just in case someone like Bumrah is not available, you need a spearhead, you need a wicket taker, especially with the new ball. And Shami is that kind of a bowler.
You need some senior bowler who
Yeah.
have an
And
experience and understand from the
interestingly,
world
Amit,
circuit.
I think the other option that I'll be very, very tempted to look at, and he hasn't been looked into, I don't know what his current form is Umran Malik.
Yeah.
In Australia, somebody who has the ability to bowl as quick as he does, 150, 150 plus, can be quite handy. So I'll be tempted to keep him in the mix. Again, I haven't seen him bowl in the last month or two. I don't know what kind of form he is in, and all the limited opportunities he's got. He has been expensive. I'll also accept that, but I mean, there is the raw material is there, and it's very, very good. We just need to mentor it. We need to look after it, I guess.
Last two questions. We are playing in October, November, and that time the Australian wickets are a little bit different. Most of the wickets they are the dropping wickets. But what do you think? What are the chances for the India in a different, because we are playing in
Yeah,
all the stadiums,
yeah.
all for four stadiums. So what do you think?
Uh, See, what I think is if you look at, okay, so what are the conditions in Australia? There'll be pace, there'll be bounce, and it'll be true bounce. So you would have to play square of the wicket a lot more. And when I look at that Indian team, KL Rahul is very good off the back foot. Rohit Sharma is very, very good off the back foot, square of the wicket. So is Virat Kohli. Surya plays square of the wicket most of the times. Hardik is good square of the wicket. So when I look at that side, I don't see why Indian batters should have a problem in those conditions. As we mentioned, Australian conditions. Bowling wise, I mean, I wouldn't say they'll struggle, but I guess India has got enough variety in their bowling. It'll be interesting to see, though, someone like Harshal Patel, how he adapts to those conditions. Listen, he's a very experienced bowler, very smart bowler, but we've seen him being extremely successful on surfaces where the ball grips because his strength is the slower ball, the variations. And we've seen him do so well on pitches where there is a little bit of a grip. But on you can expect Australian pitches to not provide those kind of conditions. It will not grip, it will skid through. So I'll be very, very interested to see how Harshal Patel kind of copes or adjusts his skill set according to the Australian conditions.
So last question. Your four teams for the semi-finals.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Australia, England, India, Pakistan.
Oh, great. So can we see India Pakistan again for the semi-finals, either in Sydney or Melbourne?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely, why not?
Thank you. Thank you, Deepda. Thank you to talk with us. Thank you.